Good evening, everybody. I'm Adam, and welcome along to the Brighton Hove Hope Exchange, this time in partnership with the Good Business Club. And that means that tonight's event is all about people coming together to share their goals, ideas, and ambitions around doing business for good. So we do these events every Friday now, 6:30 until 8:30. And it's all about you getting in touch and offering your support to people who are sharing their goals. And if there's some kind of information, contacts, advice, or any other support that you can offer, then you get in touch and you can help them a bit closer to what it is that they want to do. So it's a very inspiring thing. I'm over here, and over in 5 ways in the studio over there, actually just a study room, is Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's an exciting night. It's really, really great to be partnering up with the Good Business Club. Really brilliant bunch of people. It gives the theme of the show a lovely kind of business entrepreneurial, entrepreneurial spirit. And we've been seeing glimmers of that emerging in people's ambitions. So it's really great to be able to embrace that. Adam, while I'm here, shall I tell people about what's behind me?
Please do.
Oh, well, this is the Grand Ambigo Wall of Ambition. It stands about 7.5 foot, 8 foot tall. Normally, it comes out with us. We stand around, we hang around on street corners, being nice to people, offering them delicious cupcakes and other lovely snacks, often donated to us by the local co-op community fund and so on. Lovely folks, those. And we gather people's ambitions. We get you to put your ambitions up here on something we call an ambition calling card, and we allow other people to browse. Now, of course, as you know, we're in the midst of this kind of lockdown, social, physical distancing. So we're doing it, virtually on the street corner in your living room or bedroom or study or wherever. And my job here is to basically populate the wall for you and keep letting you know what's going on behind me. There you go.
Terrific stuff, Andy. Let's bring in one of the co-founders of the Good Business Club, who is very kindly joining us this evening, and her name is Ruth Anslow. Yes. Hello, Ruth.
Ruth.
Oh, just caught you just as you were about to take a sip of tea. How are you doing?
Cheers, Ruth.
Yeah, I got my cup of tea. Yes, I'm good. My connection's not good, so I am losing you a bit. But can you hear me? Okay.
We can hear you okay. I think there's a bit of a lag. So I think there's about a 2 or 3 second lag, but that's okay. I'll just let you take the mic then and explain to us all about what the Good Business Club Network does, what it stands for, and what it aims to achieve, and who can get involved and how.
Yeah, okay. We started the Good Business Club. My colleague Sarah and I started the Good Business Club because we recognized that there were people out there building or running or growing businesses that had a purpose other than just making money. They wanted to do some good in the world and they wanted to create something positive for their community, and that those people needed to connect and get support and get specific help. So we created a club where you can access a network of people that can help you with a challenge or a problem or to move to the next stage. We amplify people's voices and we offer support. So very often the support's very simple. It can be spending an hour with someone on a problem that's standing in their way, some challenge that they need to get over. And generally over a cup of tea or a pint in an hour, you can move somebody on. So yes, the club's really good because we have a very big network in and around Brighton, and if we can't help with the issue, then generally we know someone who can.
Yeah, and we've been very lucky enough to benefit from the.
That?
We can. Yes, yeah, we've been really lucky to benefit. We've been really lucky to benefit from the community ourselves. And what I personally found was that often you don't realise what help you need until you're there in the situation, surrounded by these other people who are full of their own bright ideas and different perspectives, and that really helps. And also often I found that I had a problem, but I couldn't quite articulate or pinpoint what it was. But it's only when you just start to spew a few words out about it, and then people act as a sounding board and go, okay, it looks like you're suffering with this problem or whatever. So then they can help you work through that. So we found that really useful. We've got 5 participants this evening who are all doing business for good or want to do business for good in some way. So Ruth, we're going to pop back and bring you back in every now and again to offer any kind of support that you can personally. But otherwise, it's down to you watching. So we want you to get in touch, and I'll run through the 3 ways you can do that after we've got into our first participant. So thank you, Ruth, for now. We'll come back to you in a little while, but let's bring in our first participant of the evening, and his name is Nick. Good evening, Nick.
Evening, Adam. How are you doing?
I'm doing terrific. Thanks for being there nice and on time, ready and waiting for us. And we can hear you loud and clear as well, so that's always a good start. Perfect. So, yeah, first of all, how are you? How has this period been for you?
Yeah, it's been an interesting period, I think, like everybody. Whenever you try and start something up, it's always a challenging time, regardless, because there's lots that comes up that maybe you don't foresee and things that you had planned. So yeah, it's been all about adapting, but I've been able to get a great lot of support from advisors, and the Good Business Club network as well has been a fantastic resource. So yeah, I'm doing good. I'm feeling positive.
Fantastic. So it's been a good resource for what? Tell us what your business goal, idea or ambition is.
Yeah, so essentially I'm looking to help people find products and services that are having a positive impact on people, local communities, and the planet. So quite a big ambition. We're looking at setting up an online marketplace, so you can find social enterprise services and everyday products, and then we deliver them ethically to your door. So yeah, we're looking at launching in September. So we're just in that kind of startup phase at the moment.
Okay, tell us more. How would it work?
So essentially what we're looking at doing is curating, there's lots of fantastic social enterprises. So for those who don't know about social enterprises, these are organizations who have either a social or environmental mission, and they will use their profits, they'll use like a commercial model to then support that social or environmental mission. So there's some fantastic options out there, from Coffee, which supports homeless people access jobs or people affected by homelessness, and Toilet Roll, that's recycled, that profits are going to NHS. So you've got some fantastic options. So what we're looking at doing is curating products and services. So services could be ethical banks or renewable energy companies that have a social environmental mission, and then people will be able to access that all in one place. And then what we do is we would actually employ people. So we deliver the products to the door, and we'd employ people who are potentially affected by the current situation, who potentially they're affected by homelessness or could be refugees. So we're trying to have a social impact within our actual business model as well. And then the idea is, people who have signed up to our site, we then empower them to choose where our profits go. So we donate 50% of our profits to local causes. So we're very much about bringing a community together and empowering people to consume better, contribute a bit more, and also connect locally.
So you're saying locally then, are you looking at Brighton and Hove as a place to start this?
Yeah, so Brighton and Hove, we just feel it's, obviously it's got the only Green MP in the UK, a very liberal place, and we just kind of feel that it's an ideal place to see if there's interest. And I think if there's going to be interest anywhere, I believe it will be in Brighton.
Okay, so what is it that you actually need at the moment to help you progress with this idea?
Yeah, so at the moment, we're really looking for insights. So we're looking at people's thoughts and opinions. So that's thoughts and opinions on their own consumption habits. Because I think, like anything, whenever you're starting something up, you have this big idea, but actually you need to talk to people and see if it is a problem, and get their input and their insights as to what their challenges are. And then we're going to develop something, obviously around this marketplace idea, but to have a solution that's relevant to them. So we're looking at support from people in terms of their feedback. And also we've done some branding. So we've got 3 brand directions, which is always the fun bit. And so I've got a co-founder, Steph, and she's a bit of a whiz on the design front. So yeah, we're looking at people to help us choose the direction of where we're going with the brand. So it's supposed to be a very kind of collaborative process. So that's some feedback that we're looking for. Also kind of insights into people who've gone through something similar in building a two-sided marketplace. So obviously it's a bit of a chicken and egg with suppliers and consumers. So looking for some support on that. And also I'm not that technical, and we are actually looking for somebody to help us build the platform. We're looking for somebody to be on board rather than kind of outsource it, just because we kind of feel that we want somebody who's gonna be really engaged with what we're doing over the longer term. So yeah, we are looking for kind of somebody to help develop the platform as well.
Okay, thanks for having a nice long list of things that you need. It's really good when people are specific about what they need help with. Yeah, so I think it's a good moment for me to actually share with people how they can get in touch right now if they're watching this and want to help. So if you think that you can offer something that Nick has just mentioned there, then you can leave a comment underneath the Facebook Live video you're watching, or you can leave it under the YouTube video if that's where you're watching this. You can also click on the link that you'll see in the message that accompanies this video, and you'll join us right here in this broadcast. You'll be in a backstage area, and then we can bring you in. So you can share with Nick yourself what it is you might be able to support with, or maybe you want to collaborate in some way. Or you'll see a phone number scroll across the bottom of your screen in a moment, and that's a number you can contact Agatha on WhatsApp. And Agatha will relay the messages to us. Thank you very much, Agatha, for being there. So, Nick, so we can kind of picture it in our minds. So we go to your website. Yeah. And is it a case of if I'm going, I need to get my living room decorated? This isn't actually my living room, but let's say I wanted to decorate it anyway, and I wanted to do it ethically. So an ethical service, people using, say, ethical, environmentally friendly products. Would that be something I'd come to your website for and say, okay, what can I find here that would fit the bill?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that we're looking at fleshing out in terms of the products that we offer. So I suppose we'd start off more with like your everyday products. So like your household goods, also like your personal care items, as well as like reusables. But we would be looking at having like a section, which I suppose what we want to end up is that you can have everything in one place. So yeah, you'd be able to find fabrics made by people who potentially you would need some extra support, or you can find ceramic bowls potentially, if that's your thing, Adam. I'm not sure if ceramic bowls are your thing, but we'd then look at how we can source that from social enterprises within the UK. Yeah.
Well, like right now in terms of kind of everyday products, scouring pads. I was looking at my scouring pad at the moment. I'm thinking that's not environmentally friendly at all. So I want to know where to get them from. So that would be the kind of thing I could go onto the website for.
Exactly, yeah. And there's tons of places out there, and it's part of our kind of job to kind of curate them and present the best ones to people like yourself.
Okay, well, I'm going to just show you a comment here that we've had in already from Say Design UK. Hi Nick, I'm a graphic designer, so I'm able to get involved, ? At least I can share my thoughts on your brand options. How about that?
That's fantastic. Yeah, we're looking for insights. We've got 3 at the moment. So I've asked friends and family, but having a professional designer to have a look would be fantastic.
Brilliant. Last question from me before I hand you over to Andy is why? Why is this so important to you?
Why? I believe at the moment there's an opportunity, I think, for everybody. We've had this downtime, this period of reflection, and I think you're seeing a lot of issues in the world with inequality. You're seeing a lot of issues that are going to be coming up with the climate crisis. And my background's for global charities and social enterprises. So I've seen a lot of issues firsthand, whether that's working with cocoa farmers in Cote d'Ivoire or gold miners in Colombia, supporting homeless people in Scotland, and having all these different experiences. I'm very aware of the fortunate position that I'm in, and I think that everybody wants to live in a better world, and really this is, I suppose, my idea and my background have kind of come together, and I'm passionate about it. Like I said, we're going to be looking at donating 50% of profits to local communities. We're not in it for fame and fortune. And I think even if it's a case of, you know, we're able to inspire others from this, then, you know, that's really what it's about. It's about connecting people who kind of share the same ideals that at the moment maybe we're not where we want to be, you know, with the world, with the society. But do you know what? If we have a bit of positivity and we can come together, I think we can create something really cool. So for me, it's an idea I've had for a little while, and I really believe that when I've started sharing it, it's great because you get that feedback from others who've had something similar, or they want to consume better, and they want to do more, you know, throughout their consumption habits. So yeah, it's an issue close to my heart.
Yeah, it's a magnificent idea, and I could talk to you all evening about your experiences as well. But I'm going to hand you over to Andy now, who has been writing down your ambition and what you need help with. Let's see what he's been able to capture, Andy.
Fantastic.
Hello, Nick. Hi.
Hi, Andy.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. I've got to admit, just as a gut reaction, I want to consume better. I'm loving your idea. You can hear me say that about everyone, but certainly what you're saying really does ring bells for me. Okay, my job here is to just check with you what I've written, because normally we get you to write it yourself. And of course, one of the things we do with our Wall of Ambitions is we often have a little picnic table where all the snacks normally are. And we're blessed by having a wonderful collection of volunteers who have great skills. They're counselors, they're coaches, they're people like that who are aware that a positive support at the solution end of people's lives is a great place to be. And they would have, if you had trouble, which you don't, they would sit with you and help you word up this thing. Here, what I'm doing is basically trying to capture what you've said, and I'll run through it with you and ask you, basically, is there anything here I've missed, or for that matter, misunderstood? Are you okay for us to do that?
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
Great, here we go. So Nick, I've written down that you are setting up an online marketplace, online marketplace, which you want to run ethically, and you're curating ethical businesses to customers. It's this lovely thing of helping sort of vet and check businesses so that people have that assurance when they hit your marketplace. And you gave an example of, I might actually try and get that word spelt right, coffee that also supports homeless people. That's one of the many examples you gave. And you also said that you're also building in or developing a delivery infrastructure that is also ethical, that is also eco-sensitive as well. And of course, beyond that, the whole of your campaign, the whole of your business, you're looking at it being structured with that ethics at heart. Now, when it comes to the call for help, which is not the end of the story, these are kind of indicators of where your interest is at the moment. You talked about insight, thoughts, and opinions about what the challenges are. And you very bravely, and I thought very wisely, said, you're checking your assumptions. You know, there you are, you have a kind of grand idea, but you've got to test it against the reality, the people that you don't know. And of course, this is where we're putting the call out to people that hopefully don't know you to get involved. You've also talked about wanting input and help on developing the brand, how they respond to what it looks like, whether it conjures up the right sort of message, image, whether it's accessible, and other brilliant stuff like that. And you've also said that you'd like insight about this type of two-sided market. And there's a sensitivity that I'm hearing from you. You want to build this thing in relationship, and it's a good relationship with your customers, with your other customers, the businesses that you're curating, and with a relationship to the wider community. So I understand that request. Basically, you're looking for really good insight all round. Plus, and we hear this quite a bit, technical help too. Now, you've said something about you'd like that technical help to come in-house, to actually become part of your team. So I'm acknowledging that as well. Nick, is there anything in there that I've missed or misunderstood?
No, I think you've got 5 stars. That's yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, I always think when you're trying to explain things and you have somebody with the 3 points bulleted down, it kind of helps you to be more clear and concise. So yeah, no, that's a fantastic overview.
Brilliant. Thank you. Let me change cameras, because what I'd like to do is bring you, hi Nick, bring you to the wall of ambition. And as you can see, I'm going to pluck what we call the ambition calling card and place it here on the wall of ambitions. Normally what happens is, as this gradually fills up with people's ambitions, we get people very understandably just browsing. They have a little look, they have a little read in their own time. They read at their own pace. They enter into a small sort of relationship with your calling card, and we leave lots and lots of post-its around for people to scribe up notes if they feel inspired to do so. And of course, me and my colleagues and our fantastic volunteers, we float around it. If someone looks a little lost, we'll have a chat with them. Basically, we let them get on with it. And the same is our call now to those people who are watching. Having heard Nick's ambition and the areas that he thinks he'd like help with, be aware that your comments can be wider than that. They can be just general comments of encouragement. One of the things that we really love, Nick, is when people put up a comment to a question you've not actually asked, and the feedback comes back that actually that's something I never thought of. So there's a chance that someone watching here thinks, I know something that Nick might not know. Let us know. We'll put it on there. There's a chance he might know it, which is fine. But if he doesn't, what a bonus. Fantastic. So we'll have that as well. Likewise, if people know people who would be ideal to give that insight, or there are some market research out there, people who know exactly how to run the right kind of focus groups or whatever, who actually say, Nick, I can really help with that. I'd like to talk about how you do that, how to make sense of the information coming from others. Maybe, make a few suggestions to Nick that he might be able to use you guys. And of course, there are people who out there who might well want to come along. I've got to admit, as a personal thing, I know an organization, a local business called Well and Me, that do ethically sourced materials to make reusable, non-disposable scouring pads. I only mentioned it because I mentioned it. So presumably, people who know small businesses who might fit into the groups that you're curating, would you be interested in hearing from them?
Would love to. Yeah, a fantastic idea.
Let's put the word out. I'll be happy to do so. Right, that goes there. Later on in the show, we'll revisit it. As you're probably aware, this show is going out live now. Hi, everybody. It's also going to be available for quite a while afterwards, and we'll be drawing people in to watch this then. So, we'll get whatever comments in, and our pledge to you, Nick, is any comments that come in, we will pass through to you, and hopefully that will be useful. It strikes me that now is quite a good time to ask Adam back into the show. And there he is, because Adam, I'd quite like to ask you, in your fantastic way, to remind people how they can get in touch with Nick via us.
So there are 3 ways to do it, right? So one way is to comment underneath the Facebook video or on YouTube, and it will appear on the side of our screen, and we'll be able to put it on the screen, a bit like Trevor. So Trevor's got in touch with a question for you, Andy. Where's the wall?
It's actually in my, kind of spare room office at home, hidden somewhere in deepest, darkest 5 ways at an undisclosed location not far from Blakers Park.
There we are. Any more questions you want to put? You just leave it as a comment on Facebook underneath the video or on YouTube. Or you can click on the link that you'll see right next to the video, and that will bring you into this live broadcast. Or you can send a message on WhatsApp to the number at the bottom of your screen. There it is. And Agatha will relay that to us. And Nick, we've got another comment from somebody called Steph. She let us know her name is Steph. And she says, a great company, non-toxic products, a small company, is the one that she's linked to there. So that's another one for you to look at, and for anybody else who wants to take a look on the Facebook page as well underneath the video. So that's where you'll be able to find it as well, Nick. I just wonder, Ruth, give me a thumbs up if you're happy to come in now, if there's anything you'd like to add to share with Nick. Can we get a thumbs up?
Oh, yeah. See you in a bit.
There we are. There's a thumbs up. So let's bring in Ruth. Hey, there we are. So Ruth, you've had a chance to listen to everything Nick's explained there about his business goals and ambitions. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I'd just like to say how of the moment this is and highly relevant it is to encourage people towards sustainable consumption. So obviously, one of the UN sustainability goals is sustainable and responsible consumption and production, and the big goal around that is having by 2030 everybody equipped and aware and have access to sustainable lifestyles. And so anyone trying to build that and connect people doing it and curate that offer for you know everybody else, I think is a very important job and something close to my heart. I think through the Good Business Club you get loads of insights from people on different types of businesses that would be relevant. So for example, for me, with my background in sustainable food, there'll be loads of insights I could give you around what people want in that area, what they're interested in, what they're ready for, what they're not quite ready for. And there's lots of other people like me in different industries throughout the club who would, over an interview, could potentially give you some really good information.
Amazing. Thank you, Ruth.
Thanks a lot, Ruth. And I want to bring in the next participant, who's called Claire, because I think Claire would also be able to benefit from what you're describing there, Ruth. And Claire, hello, Claire. Can you hear us? We can't hear you. Uh-oh, we can't hear Claire.
I'll be unmuted. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, really good. Really good, thank you. I just wanted to bring you in while Nick is still here, just in case there was anything that, well, what did you manage to hear what he was sharing? Because it's kind of along similar kind of lines to your ethos, it sounds.
I heard the summary at the end. So what I assumed was happening is you would like to create responsibly sourced materials. Is that right?
It's products and services. Yeah, social enterprise products and services. Yeah, the curation of them on a marketplace.
Yeah, amazing. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
I wonder, Nick, have you got any kind of online presence at the moment, or is that to come?
So that's to come. Yeah, so we're developing that at the moment. So obviously, with not having the brand established yet, so we're still choosing the name. We kind of decided it's better to leave it until we're kind of up and running with our chosen name.
Alrighty. So what would be really wise, I think, for us to do is we're going to put a comment underneath this Facebook Live video of Claire's website for you to take a look at, because I think it could be quite relevant as well. There could be some kind of cross-pollination or overlap going on there. So for now, Nick, later on I should let you know, we're going to create a social media post about your ambition as well, and we'll be able to spread it far and wide. And there'll be people watching this on repeat, as it were, after we broadcast it live. So any more support that comes in, we'll be sure to pass it on to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
Not at all. Thank you, Nick. Ta-ta.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Okay. That's our first participant down. Now we have the lovely Claire. Hello, Claire. Thank you so much for joining us and for holding on a few minutes. Please tell us all about your business goal or idea or ambition.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for having me. So my name's Claire, and I have a website called EnviroPledge, which is www.enviropledge.co.uk. I launched it in December, and the idea behind it was to provide 25 pledges that you can take to improve the sustainability and to reduce your carbon footprint in your daily life. So basically, the idea came to me when I'd been recently made redundant from my job, and I spent more time listening to what was going on with the environment, hearing Greta's opinions, listening to the Rebellion Extinction folks, and I started thinking that the problem was the issue was just so vast that I didn't know as a normal person what I could do to try and reduce my carbon footprint, and what was the first or second or third things I need to do. So what I did was I tried to find easy ways of understanding any lifestyle changes I would make that would have an improvement, but I found that the science was almost too difficult to understand without a scientific degree. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if somebody built something really simple and told you the actual impact of each change would have, both on your lifestyle and on your carbon footprint? And in order to do that, I actually had to employ an environmental scientist to take 25 normal everyday changes and to quantify the impact of that for an average consumer. So some of it's really simple. So instead of using Google for your search, you use a company called Ecosia, which will plant trees, or getting a milkman rather than buying plastic bottles of milk every week, or getting your fruit and veg delivered. And basically, I came up with 25 pledges and put them down as something you can pledge to do, and then you can share with a friend, and it'll tell you the impacts. You can see the website there, and you can see that the percentage impact of taking those pledges would have. Some of them are more drastic, so getting an electric car, which might not be accessible to most of us, but it's pretty easy to make a substantial change just by changing a couple of things, like your search engine, or by ringing up your energy supplier and asking to go on a renewable only tariff. So that was the initial idea, and that was launched in December. We've done relatively well. We've had 2,000 pledges have been made, worth something like 700 tons of carbon, which has been phenomenal. We've been promoted by Brighton and Hove Council through some of their social media channels, which has been great. So in addition to this, we then launched a secondary service, which was birthday e-cards. And every time you bought a birthday e-card, we would plant a tree in conjunction with a charity. And recently, that's a very recent development, and we've now managed to plant something like 1,200 trees. So basically, that's my business. Yes.
Great. So where are the trees being planted?
Well, it's through it's through a not-for-profit called Just One Tree, and they're planting in Kenya, Indonesia, Haiti, and numerous other countries, Mozambique, but it's not UK based, but it is definitely planting those trees. So yeah.
That's a huge number as well. And how long's that been running, the e-card part?
The 2.5 months.
Wow, that's a huge impact in a very short time. Well,
yeah.
I've actually benefited from it myself. It was an auntie's birthday on Monday, and I came across your website, Claire, and it took me all of 2 minutes to add a photo, and I was able to send it to her as a nice little gift. It was very affordable, and off it went. And a tree has been planted instead of, a tree being cut down to send a card. So, yeah, fabulous. It works.
I'm glad. I hope she liked it. I found that people really like receiving the fact that a tree's been planted in their honor. It's something quite majestic about that, isn't there?
Yeah, and she'll really value it, because there are lots of people and growing numbers of people who are environmentally conscious, and rather than receiving a card, which they're going to have to throw away at some point, they'd actually rather have a tree planted for them. And it also shows that you're caring about them and the environment. So best of both worlds. So in terms of the website as a whole, how did the concept come about?
So it was literally just a light bulb moment. It was just like, why isn't this easy? I don't understand why something so damaging to the planet isn't made easy for a normal human being who doesn't have a science background. And so then I worked with a web developer to try and work out what it looked like, and then got them to develop it in a lot better way than I could have done it, much more attractive. And then basically that's it. So then I've been using paid search and social to try and drive out the message, and had relative success, but I would say that the marketing side has been trickier than I anticipated, because it's a lot more expensive than I thought. And when you're running a not-for-profit and what you're selling, i.e. the e-cards, are very low value in monetary terms, it's kind of hard to make enough sales to generate the advertising. So I guess I've skipped on to the next bit about what help I would like, and
go for it.
That's definitely something I would love advice on, is organic traffic. How do I drive that? How do I get that? I had hoped that people would refer friends and family more to the pledges, and I've not found that that's happened as much as I would have liked. Because when I do a campaign, I get thousands of people to my website. But the problem is, when you're not generating a lot of money, that's expensive. So I kind of need people to help me spread the word themselves. And I found that I haven't been as effective as that as I would have hoped or would have liked.
Okay, so
If that makes sense.
that's a really big ask. Yeah, it's very clear. Is there anything else that you'd like to ask from the people watching and the people who will see this later on?
Just any feedback you have on how do I make it a better website, more usable, particularly with the e-cards. I find that a lot of my target audience are the older demographic that struggle to use websites sometimes. And so anything I can do to make it easier for them would be great, because I'm doing a lot of coaching, even though I personally think it's quite simple. But then I've been used to computers since I was a kid, and I think that makes a difference. So yeah, so any feedback on that, any tie-ups that anybody wants to do, I'm more than happy to try and help promote other sustainable businesses in a reciprocal agreement. That would be amazing. And I think, you know, I've got a couple of people that we're now trying to exchange each other's contacts, because we're trying to achieve effectively the same aim, which is to make the world more sustainable. And I guess the biggest issue I'm facing right now, which I suppose most people would, is that kind of COVID has taken over. And I think a lot of people actually think the environment's become a lot cleaner. And that's one of the benefits of coronavirus. And I think people therefore are assuming it's not as big an issue as it once was, when we all know that when the pandemic's kind of over and hopefully we return to some normality, then we know that actually things probably will get worse very quickly. So I think it's just trying to cut through the noise of COVID, and nobody wants to think about another doomsday.
Absolutely. Thank you for being so clear, and it's really valuable as well that you've really taken the time to think about what your asks are going to be for the people watching. So that's hopefully very clear. Let's see if Andy's got it clear. I'll hand you over to him over in 5 Way.
Hey, Claire. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Claire. Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, no pressure on me to get this right then, hey? Brilliantly put, Claire. Let's see if I've done you justice. As you know, I'd like to talk through what I've written down on an ambition calling card for you, and just check whether I've caught it all, or whether I've missed or misunderstood anything. Are you okay to go?
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Great, Claire. So I've written that you want to help people understand and access ways for changing their lives for a more eco world or eco way of living. And you've thus researched, and you've got people to help you research, and presented ways for people to pledge to do so. And that's the lovely 25 well-explained pathways that people can adopt on the website. And you also talked about widening that service by including and adding a birthday e-card service that links right up to planting of a tree. That's a lovely offer that you've got there, and it is quite a nice ambition, very well grounded. I'm very up for that. In terms of the call for help, thank you for the candor. There is a real challenge in getting an idea like this out and wide and far, and so you are looking for help in developing the traffic, preferably organically and crucially affordably, because as you shared with us, this is a not-for-profit activity. This is a not-for-profit offer to the community. So ideas on that, and you know, this is a great place to be sharing that request in partnership with the Good Business Club. I happen to know they have access to loads of gurus, so it'd be great to connect you up with them. And also, you're looking at any feedback to help make the whole of the offer better. That's the user journey through the website, how enjoyable, how easy, how attractive, and how that experience is. So the kind of user feedback is obviously a useful thing to you, and I can understand your call for that as well. And slightly obscured by the kind of dotted line there, you mentioned tie-ups, partners, people that you might be able to get into some kind of partnership with, co-promote each other, and also widen each other's markets and contacts with people at the same time. Does that pretty much cover what you've been explaining to us?
Yeah, that's a really good recap. Thank you for that.
Great. Let me swap the cameras over. This is the magical bit where I press buttons in front of me that no one can see, and I get to wave. This is me. This is what I look like. Hey, Claire.
Hello.
And here I am in front of the Ambigo Wall of Ambition, which normally would be in public. Normally, we'd let people browse this. In fact, we want people to browse this. Sadly, at the moment, the only person who gets to see it is you and the 2,000 or 3,000 people who tune in and watch this thing later on. By the way, it's really nice to have you tune in, guys. Thanks. Here we go. So Claire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your, what we call an ambition calling card, and I'm going to place it on the wall of ambition so that people can virtually come along and browse this thing. Now, of course, the browsing process is actually them watching the interview that you did with Adam, talking about what's going on, and my attempt to summarize that. Normally, when people read these things, they read it at their own pace, they have a little think about things and so on, and they grab a post-it note. And would they feel particularly inspired, they also grab one of our kind of colored pens here and hopefully leave a note for you. Maybe a few words of encouragement. Maybe that sense of excitement that there you are, you've gone through that extra effort of trying to work out what the impact is, to kind of evaluate them so that people can understand them better and understand whether that choice is making the impact they imagine, and so on, plus laying them out in such a lovely way. And of course, the pledge thing is a lovely kind of thing. What I'm getting there is you're building a community. We're doing this together. And that I think is a great element of what you got there. I find that quite exciting. So if it were me writing a comment, I would be saying, yes, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm going to be checking this out and I will be telling people. Question is whether we can get others to tell them as well and so on, which is why it's nice to have your ambition up here on the wall. And those people watching, if you have a comment for Claire, maybe something that she doesn't know, maybe a tip, maybe a sort of piece of advice about that viral marketing or organic growing of the traffic, let us know. We'll put that in touch. We'll put your comment in touch with Claire. Likewise, if you'd like to go along on the journey with her, because your business might be a really nice business to tie up with hers, we'd be really happy to make that connection as well. Which begs the question, Claire, kind of almost inevitably, how do people get in touch with you? Oh, Adam, hello.
This is where I come in.
As if by magic, you know exactly what I'm going to ask you to do, don't you?
I do. So if you want to help in any way with what Claire's doing, if you've got any information, contacts, advice, or any other kind of support, then you can get in touch by simply leaving a comment underneath the Facebook video or on YouTube. Or you can click on the link that you'll find accompanying this video and you'll join us here in this broadcast backstage and then we can bring you in. Or you can send a message on WhatsApp to Agatha on the number that's about to scroll across the bottom of your screen. So I just want to say, Sensei, we're coming to you right next. So if you could just hold on a minute or two longer, we'd really appreciate that. But let's bring in Ruth and see if Ruth has got any kind of ideas how the Good Business Club might be able to help, because this is a topic I'm sure that has gone around the network time and time again. You know, how do you get that organic growth and those kinds of things?
Yeah, and I must say, Claire, I really love the usability of your site. So I was looking at it, and as someone, I have a food shop, and we're trying to always nudge people into more sustainable behaviors and help connect them with the impacts of what they do and the shopping choices they make. And I really think that this is so lovely and clear on your site. And as you are interested in sort of feedback on the usability, and also it's clear that you're moving this on to you want to create a community. I would say it might be really nice to see the collective achievements of the site. So I don't know if you create something on that tops up or shows the sum of the efforts that have been made and what they add up to, because I think that will sort of help people see that they're part of a community and feel part of a joint effort, which I know works well in my shop.
Yes, thank you. It's something I do on social channels, but not necessarily on the front page of the website. But you're right, absolutely.
Tremendous. Thanks, Ruth, for your contribution, valuable as ever.
Thank you.
likewise, there's bound to be lots of people in the Good Business Club who will have ideas that could help with exactly what you need help with, Claire. So do check out the Good Business Club. In fact, we should just leave the website address. It's thegoodbusinessclub.com, I think. Is it, Ruth?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm just leaving it there as a comment on the Facebook Live video, so anybody watching can have a look at that, and you can just click on that link and go and check out the Good Business Club so that you can find out the ways it can help. And you can even see who's in the network, because people have got a little bio about themselves as well. So you can get a good idea of, you know, who you might be able to collaborate with. You can collaborate with lots of different people. So thanks, Ruth. We're going to go to Sensei next. But for now, Claire, is there anything else that you'd like to say before you go?
No, thank you very much for having me. It was lovely to chat to everyone, and have a lovely weekend.
And you. We're going to be back in touch when people offer any kind of support that they do when they watch this back in the future, or if they respond to your social media post that we'll make about it as well.
Lovely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Claire. Okay, let's go straight into our next ambitioneer, as we like to call him. Good evening to you, Sensei. How are you?
Hello. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing really well, and I already know that I'm going to love the ambition that you're going to share with us this evening, because you've already told me a little bit about it. So go ahead and share with everybody else. What is it that you would like to do?
Okay, so the major ambition is to create a refugee World Cup. However, what I want to do is start small, go big. So what I want to do is set up a academy for refugee children here in Brighton. And what I'd like to do is develop the sort of different sports. The different sports: boxing, basketball, football, rugby. I'm starting to develop those channels that allow the kids to go into sports and access sports, because that's a real problem for kids when they first move over here. They don't often have the access, you know. So what I'd like to do is remove that obstacle and create like a sustainable environment, an atmosphere where they can grow. They will stay with the academy, they'll grow, and hopefully they'll develop their talents and go on to do something in sports.
This is fantastic. You know, just tell us why this is like a particular issue that you're keen to support and provide something for.
Well, it comes to down to my experience as a football coach. With Syria Relief, we ran a national football tournament for refugees over in Syria, who were based in Turkey. Sorry, in the camps there. So I had that experience. Also, I coached at a language school. I was their football academies. I was their head coach. So I had first-hand access to refugee children within Brighton, and I could see the difference that sports made in their lives. You know, so seeing that firsthand, I was able to gain a sort of knowledge and experience of how to deal with certain situations, or you know, how to channel the kids into sports and how to channel them, and you know, build confidence within them and install that within them through sports. And you know, us going through all of that, it really built my experience in dealing with all those situations.
So have you got an idea in mind as to where this academy would actually be and how it would be structured and those kinds of things?
Yeah, so I'm looking to launch it. Well, I was looking to launch this summer in Brighton. However, the coronavirus has obviously scuppered those plans. So the next best thing would be to set like a year limit, see where we are in a year's time, and come back. As for the structure, it'll be there'll be community sessions that anyone can access, and those will be self-funded through the NGO, and through those community sports sessions, what we're able to do is build an environment where refugee children are not just playing amongst each other, but they're playing with other children as well. So once that happens, what we can do is build on that with football tournaments, football leagues, build a structure for it, and build a sustainable environment where, you know, it's not sort of there for one summer or 6 months. It's there all year round, you know, and hopefully the community gets behind it.
I really hope so. And so for the people watching, what is it you'd like to ask of them? You know, how can people help with your next steps?
That's a really good question. To be honest, I would like to network more. I would like to network more. I would like to learn the NGO environment as this is my first sort of NGO experience. I'd like to learn from others. I'd like to learn what their experience has been. I'd like to learn any footfalls. I would like to learn in all aspects, to be honest, in that environment. So yeah, network would be a key to that.
Okay. And is there anything else that you think in terms of linking up with different organizations that could help? So you said, for example, boxing, you know, have you got contacts already that could supply that, or are you looking to make those kind of contacts and collaborations as well?
All those connections have been made, or they're self-taught. For example, I'll lead football. We'll have a coach for boxing, a coach for basketball. To be honest, we're still looking for the coach for rugby, but that's really easily accessible within Brighton. There's a lot of rugby going on here, so that shouldn't be too hard to find. As for the structure, yeah, we all sort of take on different nights of the week. So Monday will be boxing, Tuesday will be football, so on. And yeah, what we're looking to do is build an environment where kids can come, learn their sports, learn their trade, and really put it into effect. It wouldn't be sort of it would be open drills as opposed to open play. And what that does is it enhances talent. So when you build a competitive environment, it enhances talent. So hopefully they go away learning something new every single week. They keep coming back, they keep making new friends, keep having new experiences, and all positive through sports.
So you mentioned about the impact that the coaching has on children that have come here having fled war or persecution previously. Could you just give us an example of the impact that you've seen when you've been coaching those kids?
The impact of sports?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. You know, even kids who are in wheelchairs were taking part in these sessions. So kids who have been amputated or become disabled, like at one time, any given time, we were coaching over 80 kids. So it was all about making sure everyone was taking part and having fun, because when it's that amount of kids at any given time, not all kids take part in the session. Some kids feel left out. So the impact on them was to keep everyone going, and in order to manage it, what we did was we broke them up into smaller groups of 5, and then we'd make them play each other, and then the champions would swap matches, and so on and so on. So we kept everyone involved as much as we could, and the impact was to be honest, best said by their parents. Whenever they would come collect their kids, they would always say thank you to the football coaches, say thank you to everyone involved in football. You know, those were sort of the best compliments and sort of the best moments when setting all of this up.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Sensei. I'm going to hand you over to Andy now, who's been writing it all up, and he'll check that he's got it all down correctly for you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Hello, Sensei.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for bringing a fabulous idea to share with us and share with all our viewers and so on. It's really nice to be partnered up with the Good Business Club, They may well be able to give you insight on business practices, and who knows, maybe future business sponsors or corporate social responsibility partnerships. We'll see what happens. Anyway, what I'd like to do with you, Sensei, if I may, is just run with you what I've written down on an ambition calling card for you. Check that I've caught what you've said, caught the essence of what you've said at least. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Okay, so you want to create the big picture, the big goal at the end of the day is a Refugee World Cup, very much around the football thing. That's where you're heading to, starting locally, opening up sports for young people who've recently arrived. And when I say arrived, it's through the refugee pathway, who's settling into this new country, having had to leave, their home, their place of origin. And you want to do this through creating an academy. It's a sports academy offering a whole load of things, the training, the place for these young people to learn, to gather, to experience, as well as offering community events open to all. And this is your way, as I've heard you say, to link refugee children with the wider neighborhood. It's a lovely way of sharing a shared interest as a way of getting people to know each other. In terms of what you need, now you said, and we are in the midst of COVID-19, we're in this midst of lockdown, you very sensibly said, right, let's hold fire for about a year, let's see what happens. But that doesn't mean that the ambition stops being. What you're saying here is you've got an opportunity to do some research, to build some more contacts. So the networks that might emerge, and this is why the Good Business Club is a great thing to partner with other organizations with large groups of people. I'm thinking of our friend, a really fantastic chap called Darren up in Crew Club, that is a youth organization in East Brighton, and they have boxing in there as well. So there's a whole group of young people who might be able to partner up with your emerging academy and do shared events, get young people to meet with each other, and more stuff like that. So we'll see, and he may well be he may catch this show at some point. Also, you're looking at insight and learning about non-government organizations, NGOs. This whole thing about how do you run a not-for-profit, community-focused organization. And it's thank you for sharing with us that you're quite new to this. And we just heard from someone who's been running a non-profit that's been up and running for a little while. So those kind of connections, those tips and advice that might be able to come from her, it'd be lovely to be able to share those with you. Fast track and give you a head start on getting your own not-for-profit NGO academy up and running. And of course, you said that basically you're open to comments and advice and tips on all aspects of the sports academy environment. Thank you for that. Does that pretty much capture what you've been saying?
Yes, that's exactly, to put it in layman terms, that's exactly what it is.
Cool. And it does make sense. Let me swap the cameras over. One of the challenges here we go. Hey, Sensei. One of the challenges is to capture the information so that it is, kind of understandable, doing honor to what you're trying to say. It's interesting that there's always more that we're not able to put on a small sheet of paper like this one. But I'm glad that you've helped me capture pretty much the kind of lay understanding of that. What I'm going to do, if that's all right with you, is put it here on our wall of ambition and put the call out via this video and also anyone who's watching this for help, advice, tips, contacts, connections, and other people who might be able to help you put this together. I don't know what else you're interested in, but those networks open up opportunities. And one of the things we found and find really useful is that when you get to know somebody, that they may well have hit a problem that you've not even thought of and be able to deliver you a solution that helps you avoid a lot of the pain that they've had in setting up their business. It would be nice. So So talking to you as a viewer, thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments for Sensei, who's basically looking to unite groups of people through the fun thing of sports and with that kind of edge of competition, but importantly is that connecting of people to locally in our neighborhoods from those who've kind of recently joined us, then, you know, kind of get in touch with Sensei. If you have some words of encouragement, some words of advice, if you know some people who have direct experience of growing NGOs from that small seed of a community local organization through to a big multinational world covering World Cup, then, you know, that too would be interesting. Sensei, we'll dig out a contact, because we've had one or two conversations, which I'm sure you have as well, with Albion in the community, the local football club, and so on, who do fantastic community work as well. If we can help connect you with them as well, it would be a lovely thing to be able to do so. And of course, if you watching have any contacts that you can suggest for Sensei, send them in. We'll get them to Sensei, and we'll be happy to do so. Which begs the question, really, how can people get in touch with us? This is where normally Adam, oh, look, there he is. He normally jumps right in. Adam, actually, would you be kind enough to share with people how they can get in touch with us?
Well, you can do what Jenny's done, and Jenny has just left a regular comment underneath this Facebook Live video for Sensei, saying, how about speaking to Darren at Human Hive? Have you ever heard of the Human Hive, Sensei?
Oh, I haven't, no.
Okay, so the Human Hive is something that's been started by a couple of people in Brighton, and it's actually a worldwide network of people who are wanting to do things for the good of society. So people in there are running all sorts of different not-for-profit organizations. And Darren is one of the people who founded it. And it's free to join. It's basically for absolutely anybody to join who shares the ethos of doing things with people rather than for them. So instead of just saying, okay, I've got something to help you, it's saying, how can we work with you to provide something that you feel is useful for you? So, you know, you've had that experience already with the coaching. So we can leave a link, thanks to Jenny, who's made that suggestion. We can leave a link for you to the Human Hive. And Darren has done an awful lot of work with refugees as well. So he will undoubtedly have some suggestions to make. So that's one way you can get in touch to help Sensei or anybody else on this show. Leave a comment underneath the Facebook Live video or on YouTube. Or you can click on the link that's right next to this video, and you'll join us straight here in this broadcast, and we'll bring you in. Or you can send a message on WhatsApp if that's your thing, and the number's about to scroll across the bottom of your screen. There we are. So Agatha is waiting for your messages on WhatsApp, and she'll pass them on. And just a second comment from Jenny, who says, and they started their work by connecting and helping with refugees in particular. Yeah, so that's right. So they ran something called Crisis Classroom, where they went to different places, most notably, I think, somewhere in Italy, where they were helping to connect refugees who had recently arrived with people in their local community, and they were sharing skills with each other, doing so much amazing work, and it was really good for strengthening that cohesion in those areas. So yeah, we'll definitely connect you with the Human Hive, Sensei, and as soon as anybody else reaches out with any other kind of support, advice, offers of collaborations, whatever it might be, we'll make sure we get that to you once we've made the social media post out of your ambition as well, to spread the word a bit further. Just off the top of my head, have you already connected with or are familiar with Brighton Table Tennis Club?
I'm not, no.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, table tennis club would be a good option as well, to be honest.
Yeah, so the Brighton Table Tennis Club are incredible. So they are nationally famous now because they've been using table tennis as a way for refugee children, people of all ages, but including refugee children in particular. They don't say, you know, tell us your story or where are you from or anything. They just give them a table tennis bat and say, here, join in. And it's the kind of sport that anybody can just pick up a bat and play. And you can soon start at least keeping the ball on the table. So they've got huge experience in working with refugee children, and I'm sure that they'd be eager to collaborate because they're fantastic people. And I did have another thought as well, but it'll come back to me and I'll send it to you in an email. So yeah, I'll get that to you, Sensei. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that you've not mentioned so far?
No, to be honest, that's covered everything. I felt like coming on here was like a new experience. Hearing everyone's opinions on it. Yeah, so you know, that was great. Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you for having me on and hearing.
Our pleasure.
Idea.
Yeah, thanks for being there. And the Good Business Club as well. There are so many members of the Good Business Club, because you said like the number one thing for you at the moment is networking, and that's what the Good Business Club is. There are so many people in the Good Business Club who run not-for-profit organisations, so they'd be more than happy to welcome you into the fold and share their knowledge and their contacts as well.
That'll be awesome.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Sensei. We'll be in touch. But for now, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's Tatata Sensei, but let's bring in our next participant. It's non-stop. It's bam, bam, bam. So the next person who we're going to invite back into the Brighton Hove Hope Exchange is somebody who's been on previously. And she's back again because she's got another wonderful idea. So let's welcome Vanessa. Hi.
Hi.
How have you been getting on?
I'm good, you know, like summer has arrived in Brighton, so it's lovely and, you know, it's good. How are you?
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I'm not actually in Brighton, just to disclose that. I'm in Burton-upon-Trent, my hometown, during this lockdown, but the sun is shining through my window onto my face right now, so I couldn't be out.
I've never been to Burton-on-Trent. Is it a nice place?
It's, well, if I open the window now, the first thing I'd notice is a whiff of beer, because it's, yeah, so Burton is Old English for beer town, so the breweries are just over there. So well, it depends which way the wind blows, because if it blows from, I'm trying to get my bearings, north, then from where I am right now, then I'd get the beer most probably. But if it comes from over that way, then I'd get the Marmite factory. And if it comes from over there, I'd get the coffee from the Nestle factory. So anyway, nobody wants to know about the history of Burton-on-Trent or its industry. Oh, it's, yeah, sometimes you just, getting drunk off the fumes. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about, is it? Yeah. So you've got an exciting new idea. You want to do business for good. Tell us about it.
Yes. So as I mentioned before, I run a pop, soul and gospel choir in Brighton Hove, which we're currently obviously not running at the moment because it's too many people and we're not allowed to do that at the moment. But singing is amazing. It's one of the most, I think, it's one of the most amazing things that you can do. And I've just been very aware that with this interesting time where there's like distance and people are going back to work, but they're not going back to work with all of their team, it's finding ways to stay connected that are still fun and interesting. I think it's really important to have fun and to connect with your team and things like that. So I wondered, it's actually kind of an idea, but also a question to people, because basically I wondered whether officers or bigger organisations where all of the team can't be in the same room together, whether they might be interested in doing like social singing online, so like via Zoom. So I've been running my choir online via Zoom. We've had like 100, we had one week we had 177, which was very exciting. Yeah, I know. Oh. I know, it's really, really lovely. So I'm just wondering whether companies would want something where their teams could still all come together and have a drink and sing a song. Yeah, it's kind of part of keeping connected, even though they can't all be in the same building at the same time.
So if one of the people watching right now is the boss of an organisation, how would it work? My mind is blown. 177 people in one Zoom call, I imagine, singing. Yeah. I mean, how on earth does that work?
Well, obviously no one can hear each other. So the thing with Zoom, which is the sad thing, I mean, thank you, technology. You are amazing. You've kind of kept us going through all of this. It's with Zoom, it's everyone can hear me. Everyone's microphones are on mute because we haven't got the technology where people can actually physically sing and hear each other together. So the interaction is basically everyone knowing that they're there at the same time, doing the same thing. They can chat to each other in the chat room, so they can virtually chat and things like that. So it can still feel really social. I don't know whether you've done any of the online quizzes during all of this.
We have the Bates family quiz every fortnight. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, there's some quizzes that are streamed on YouTube where they encourage people to go onto the YouTube live page. They kind of like are there virtually with their friends. So you might not be able to properly interact, but you're all there at the same time. So with Zoom, the great thing is that even though you can't hear each other, you can see each other's faces. And what I found with my choir is that even though they can't hear each other sing, just them seeing each other's faces makes them feel connected and like they're all there together doing something. And in terms of how it would work, well, there's two options there, you see. It depends on kind of what people want to do. So we could do more of a sing-along thing where we choose 3 to 5, depending on how long they want, or one even song that they want to do and just like have a big old sing-along together. Or we can go a bit more in depth. And I used to do, in the old world, I used to do this thing called pub choir, where everyone would basically have a beer and learn one song in very simple 3-part harmony in an hour and a half. And it was always a lot of fun. So those are the two options.
Okay, so we've just had a wave of new people join us who missed the very start of this.
Okay.
So could you kind of clarify, summarize kind of what it is you need help with? And it sounds like basically getting feedback on the idea at this stage. So could you just summarize what that is?
And so feedback on the idea and kind of the interest. Okay, I'll summarize. Basically, I run pop song gospel choirs in Brighton and Hove. And for big organizations and companies who are kind of getting back to work, but putting in the system where part of the team comes in one day and part of the team comes in the other day, I just wanted to create something where the whole of the team still felt like they were doing something. So it's a social idea of kind of like every so often, once a week, once a month, all getting together for kind of an online sing via Zoom. So you wouldn't necessarily be able to hear each other sing, but you'll have everyone's faces there and you're all doing something together in a fun way. So,
and is there anything else you'd like to ask from the people watching?
So the main thing I'd like to ask is that an interesting idea? Is that actually something that people think they'd be interested in? And if so, here I am. Let me know if you'd like me to do that for your organization, or let me know if you know an organization that might be interested in. So any kind of contacts in terms of that, or whether you actually think it's a good idea, whether you think it's needed.
And just in more general terms, what is the power of music to connect people? Oh,
where do I even begin? Well, music in itself is incredible. Singing it's so uplifting. I don't want to get too technical on you here, but there's like your vagus nerve is here at the back of your neck, and your vagus nerve is really responsible for kind of like calming you down and helping you boost your immune system and all that kind of stuff. And singing directly stimulates your vagus nerve. So it's good for your health. It feels good. It's really fun. I've been running Solicity Choir for 10 years, and the comments that I get from people about singing together is that it builds confidence, you know, they feel good. They've made friends with people that they never thought they'd make friends with. I could go on and on and on. It's one of the most incredible things I've had the pleasure of being involved in, if I'm honest. So, yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. And I can say as well, from having been to a couple of your concerts, that you can really tell that you're enjoying it as well. And your enjoyment is really infectious. So once this is over and you're able to put concerts back on, I very much highly recommend it, because you'll have a riveting evening and you'll come away beaming and having got involved yourself, because you don't let the audience get away with not joining in, right?
Well, why would I get a big group of people together and not give them the opportunity of having a lovely time? So
there we are. Absolutely. Right, I'm going to hand you over to Andy now, who's been writing all this up.
Thank you.
Hello, Vanessa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Even better for hearing your voice. Yeah, don't worry. I say that to everyone. It's terrible, really.
I'm sure you do. I mean, I don't feel like I'm getting special treatment. That's fine.
Anyway, here I am, the disembodied voice, and my role, as you know, is to just check with you that what I've captured on our ambition calling card for you is pretty much what you said. I'll be asking, have I missed anything? Have I misunderstood anything? Are you okay to go? I'll take you through it.
Yeah, do it. Go.
Here we go. So Vanessa, you, as you told us, run a pop, soul and gospel choir, which is sadly on a bit of a COVID break. You know, you've kind of been, whatever, furloughed, whatever the right word is. But you would like to help people stay connected through having fun, and you'd like to check whether businesses or offices could benefit from a team connection activity based on singing together. It's a lovely idea. I like the idea. For what it's worth, although sadly I'm not in charge of a massive business nor a big office, I think it's a brilliant idea. Still, in terms of the help that you might need, it really is a very honest question of, do you think it'll work? For those people who are in charge of or taking a lead in the welfare and the connection of people in large businesses, do you think it'll work? You know, Vanessa would love to know, does your business look like it could benefit your business, your office? So really the call at its heart is for feedback on the idea. And of course, if they're interested, to get in touch.
Yes.
In essence, is that pretty much it?
Yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. And then obviously once we're allowed to meet in the real world, then I'm really interested in doing workplace choirs as well. You may have seen Gareth Malone do lots of workplace choirs. Yeah. So I guess the initial thing would be to help during the transitional period online. And then if they enjoyed it, to take it into the real world as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. With your permission then, let me just swap the cameras over. Brace yourself, because it's going to show you my face. Here I am. Hi.
There you are. Hi.
Yeah, this is me. You probably remembered me from last time. I remember you from last time. And what I'd like to do is take your ambition calling card from a little kind of zoom in area.
Yeah.
And place it on our wall of ambition. Now, before I share with people the sorts of comments that tend to come in and invite people to do so, I'd like to spend a brief moment just acknowledging that you mentioned the old vagus nerve, you know, polyvagal theory and so on. And just to say, that really resonates. I've been working with various other people who've been going through, well, we've been through about 10 weeks of this now, give or take.
Yeah.
And it's a period of time where we've been defensive. We've had to be really careful. We've had to look after people. We've had to look after ourselves. It's a state of anxiety. It's a state of protection. It's a state of security. What you're offering strikes me as a way of bringing some joy and fun back in.
That's my actual middle name. Did you know that?
Sorry?
Joy is my middle name.
Yeah, I can actually believe that. I can imagine your parents christening you that as well.
That's true.
Or naming you that. That's brilliant. Yeah. So with that in mind, it's how this might affect a business. It may be part of the welfare to help people relax a little in a safe way where they can access the fun stuff again. And as Adam was saying earlier, you clearly do bring a lot of fun to people. So there we go.
Good. And also just that sense of kind of like, even though they're disconnected, they can still connect. Like that was the main feeling behind it, really.
Yeah, and that's an important part of it, especially as we have been, as you rightly say, so out of touch with each other. Generally speaking, what tends to happen as people browse our wall of ambitions is they often, not always, but often grab a post-it note and one of these kind of multicolored pens. And if they feel inspired, they leave a little note on someone's ambition. We generally get 3 types of comments, little words of encouragement, maybe some tips and advice, something that you think maybe Vanessa has not thought of, that you might like to say, oh yeah, how about this? Or consider this, or I did something similar and this happened, and so on. She may well have thought of it, but there's a chance that she hasn't. And of course, that kind of insight, that kind of spotting what else is going on is really useful. And of course, if you know somebody, or you are somebody who could directly speak to, you're in charge of 500, 655 people, whatever, and you'd like to have a little chat further with Vanessa about this, tell her what it's like in your business and how it would or would not fit in with all these people. I'm sure she'd love to hear that as well. And likewise, if you love singing and you want to be a part of this and you want to join in on the chorus or whatever, get in touch as well. Because even if you're not involved in a specific business, there may be future opportunities, especially when Soul of the City Choir starts singing again in these lovely, lovely kind of presentations and so on. At this point, Vanessa, I normally ask Adam to join us again. And he's going to miraculously, there he is, in fact, magically appear. Because Adam, what I'd like you to do is just remind people, especially those of you who've just joined us or recently joined us, how you can get in touch and how you can share something that we will get through to Vanessa and the other people who share their ambitions with us.
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch with Vanessa, you can do what Jenny's done. Jenny's full of great ideas this evening. So Jenny's been in touch by simply writing a comment on Facebook underneath the Facebook Live video. You can also leave a comment on YouTube if that's where you're watching this. And Jenny says to you, Vanessa, how about approaching the Good Business Club themselves and the Chamber of Commerce to get their members together for this? Now, that seems like a great idea. I'm sure that Sarah and Ruth from the Good Business Club would be open to exploring that idea at least. So yeah, they'll be watching this, so they'll be making some notes, and we'll connect you if you want to be connected.
Yes, please. Thank you.
And do you know anybody from the Chamber of Commerce?
No.
Okay, so we might be able to make a connection there as well. So that's cool. So that's one of the ways. And also, I say this about every 10 minutes. Why am I trying to think about it? There's a link that's right next to this Facebook Live video. If you click on that, then you'll join us in this broadcast and you'll go into a backstage area and we can bring you in. Or you can send a message to Agatha. So Agatha's on our WhatsApp. So the number is about to scroll past the bottom of the screen. It's coming. So yeah, if you just write a little WhatsApp message to her, she'll go, thank you very much, and she'll pass it on to us. Okay, lovely. Is there anything else, Vanessa, that you'd like to say that you haven't fit in so far?
No, just everyone should sing because it's amazing. That's it.
Oh, hold on. Jenny's back with another useful comment. And throw Circle of Brighton and Hove in for good luck.
Okay.
I don't know what Circle of Brighton and Hove is myself. Do you? Okay. Well, we don't want to just nod and be polite. Jenny, if you're able to quickly write another comment and explain, maybe even get a link as well that we could share for Vanessa and everybody else watching, so we can understand what Circle of Brighton and Hove is. I wonder if that's circular economy. We'll find out. Okay, Vanessa, thank you so much. It's been a joy to talk to you. That word again. Yeah, and we'll be in touch. We'll be making a social media post about this new ambition as well, to try and get some more feedback from people within businesses too, as to whether they feel this would be a great idea. And, you know, hopefully we'll see this progressing so that we can start getting businesses connecting via online methods through singing. Oh, here we are. Jenny just clarifying for us. Yes, it's the local circular economy group.
Of course, yes, I have heard of them. Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool.
And we actually know Sally, who is one of the members of the organisation there, I believe. So yeah, we could connect you to Sally if you wanted to as well. So we'll be in touch anyway, Vanessa, by email. And yeah, we'll be in touch as soon as anybody offers any kind of support after we've made the social media posts, and from those people as well who'll be watching this at a later point. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye.
Okay, so just to bring you up to speed with what's going to happen in a few minutes. So you may have seen that Brighton Hove City Council have actually sent a message around to all of us saying there's going to be a minute's silence at 8 p.m. and they're inviting everybody across the city to take a knee in solidarity. So we're going to be taking a pause just before 8 o'clock, and we'll be back at 8:03. So I think it's a good time, Andy, to have a quick look, a recap really, of what we've added to the wall so far from all the participants on tonight's Brighton and Hove Hope Exchange with the Good Business Club.
Great, I will be happy to do so. On the proviso, Adam, that you jump in the moment we need to break for taking that minute's silence. It's been an exciting night. It has. We started with Nick. Nick, hello again, Nick. He came in with this idea of an online marketplace curating equally friendly, ethically sound business so that he does the research so that you don't have to. There's an assurance there as a customer wanting to make better purchase choices for products and services to know that he's done that research. And there he's looking for insights, thoughts and opinions about the challenges of doing this kind of two-way sharing business thing. Really great if you can help him. Also, we had Claire. Hello again, Claire. She came in and she has been doing a lot of research on how we can change our lives to reduce our carbon footprint and live more eco-friendly for a better world and a better life. And she has a wonderful website out there and is also offering a tree planting come e-card service. And she's really looking for ways of improving the traffic, letting people know, more people know. She's top of a non-profit here. There's not a lot of money sloshing around for such a great cause. So advice on how to widen that traffic to this site so that people can educate themselves and pledge to make a better world. If you can help there, please do. Sensei came in with this wonderful idea, brilliant dream of a refugee World Cup, specifically bringing young refugees through sports as a way of helping them get established in new homes and connect with neighborhood people through an academy. And he has his sight set on the entire world for sure. Well done, Sensei. Starting locally with an academy. And there, it's a network that's important. He's taking a little bit of a break, sensibly, until after COVID-19 has gone through. But he's still making the connections and wants to talk with you about whether they can link up and help bring this to fruition. And we had the fantastic Vanessa come through just now with her incredible dream of helping people connect through singing, bring the joy back in. And she would love to check with local businesses and local offices whether that kind of thing is going to work well in your environment with those people in those business spaces, bringing the connection back, especially as we've had to spend so much time working from home or working in such a distanced way. And of course, beyond that, moving into doing more team connection activities, maybe even together as your own business choir, who knows? There's a quick view of the four fantastic people who've been through with their ambitions. We call them ambitioneers. If you have an ambition and would like to join us, we would be more than happy to share this with others and bring you any comments that they have. Do we have time for me to say more, Adam?
Well, I think we've just got time to invite people to get in touch if they've listened to what you've described there as to what people need and they think they can help out. So you can get in touch right now by leaving a comment underneath the Facebook video or on YouTube, or you can click on the link that accompanies that video and you'll be brought into this broadcast. Or you can send a message on WhatsApp if that's what you prefer, and Agatha will respond to you. And that WhatsApp number is about to scroll across the bottom of your screen. So as mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we're going to take a break now because in Brighton and Hove, people are having a minute's silence at 8 p.m. and taking a knee in solidarity as well. So we're going to come back in just a few minutes' time, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back because we've got Edson coming up who's going to be sharing his business ambition, and he's already set up something pretty inspiring as well. So we want to make sure that you hear that and can also offer any kind of support that you might be able to. So we'll be back at 8:03 on the dot. So we want to make sure that you're still here. See you in a bit. Hello, welcome back. Thank you for hanging on for us. And we're going to get stuck into some written ambitions, first of all, that have come through for this event. And if you're just new joining us, let me recap on what this is all about. Well, this is the Brighton and Hove Hope Exchange, and this week we're partnering with the Good Business Club. So that's a network of incredible people in Brighton and Hove who are supporting each other if they're doing business for good. That means they're doing business that has a purpose beyond profit. So we've already heard from 4 people this evening who have been sharing their goals, ideas, and ambitions around their own business aspirations to do good in community or in society or for the planet. And we're going to be hearing from Edson at 10 minutes past 8 as well. But Andy, I'm going to bring you back in, who's over in our 5-way studio, as I like to call it. Here I am in my living room. And we've got some written ambitions, Andy, that I'd like to go through with you. So are you ready with your pen and paper?
Yep, have pen, have paper. Oh, hang on, sorry. I have to interrupt everything.
Oh, no.
Because we have a visitor.
Who's that?
We have my cat. Who,
Mystic Marg.
Well, she has an ambition. And her ambition is to be fed, petted, generally made a real fuss of, and be in charge of everything Ambigo-wise. Didn't realise we had a mascot. Oh, well, hey-ho.
Oh. Now, you
Sorry
know what? She ran away a few weeks ago, didn't she? So she's a bit of a troublemaker as well. Anyhow.
Yes, basically.
Let's get into this written ambition then that we've had come through. And it's from somebody called Najat. And
Hello,
so Najat is somebody whose ambition is to keep his Syrian food business going. So he runs a food business called Syrian Kitchen. And what he does is he sells vegetarian Syrian food. So he sells things like falafel wraps at a market stall, but he isn't able to do that at the moment for obvious reasons. And so when he's back operating, it won't make up for the shortfall in the interim. So what would help him at the moment is, well, he's looking for support from the government or the council or somebody else who can supply him with the premises that he needs to be able to operate from. So as you can understand, for so many different people and so many different businesses who have had to put things on hold, this is a really difficult time. So what he feels would help him is if he had a premises that he could operate out of, because a market stall, of course, he can only sell his food when the market's actually running, for example. So if he actually had a premises, he'd be able to potentially set his own business hours. And so if anybody out there has any ideas as to how we could get hold of a premises, then get in touch with us and we can pass it on to Najat. So does that all make sense, Andy?
Yes. Do we know whether he's hoping to do deliveries or pick up food outside the market areas? Is that how he hopes to survive?
He's not said so. I think at the moment it's just a case of waiting for the market stall to be up and running. So his first alternative that he's aiming for is the premises. So I'm just going to make all our mouth water here. I just thought I'd actually show you some of the food that he's making. I know I'm starving, so I'm kind of oh, look at that, and I don't eat meat either, so this is perfect for me. I do love Syrian food. So he does tabbouleh, does falafel, does wraps.
Oh dear.
Okay, well, I'm kind of hoping to whet the appetite of you watching as well, because if you have any ideas as to how Najat could get a premises with the help of the government, are there any kind of government-run schemes going at the moment that could help him and other people who are watching and might be in the same situation? Okay, I think that's enough of mouthwater in Syrian food.
Cruel person, you. Right.
So yeah, get in touch, please, if you can help. So on that goes, onto the wall of ambitions. And should we squeeze in another one quickly, Andy?
Have we time?
Yeah, just about.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it then. Okay, this one is from Callum. Callum says that he wants to create the most ethical, sustainable face masks on the planet. That's his ambition.
Oh, well done, Callum.
So he started a company in Brighton called Mask. And the reason I say it like that is because it's spelled MAASK. So the masks are made from recycled ocean plastic. And what they do is they donate 2 medical grade masks to healthcare workers for every one that they sell. Amazing. So they also make custom branded sustainable masks for businesses. Problem is, he says that Facebook and other social media platforms have been blocking the advertising of face masks at the moment. And so what would help him is that he wants to work with companies who wish to choose an ethical route. So if you have any connections to companies that either want to make branded masks for people to wear, or they want to buy masks for their own staff, then that's his ask. So if anything comes to mind there, then again, let us know and we'll be able to pass it on to Callum. So Andy's still scribbling that one down because there's quite a lot to go in there.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah, this is a Brighton-based business, but he's already got some big name backers who already trust his manufacturing, apparently. So they're definitely going to be ones who are they're very ambitious, and having had a look at their website, I can see why. So is that ready to go on the wall of ambitions?
Yeah, well done, Callum. Let's see if we can get some good contacts for you. And I'm surprised that Facebook and social media have banned you. So I would have imagined there's a demand from that. Who knows? Maybe someone can suggest other ways of promoting your service as well. Etsy, direct mailing to procurement officers, who knows what. But of course, the branded offer is there, and the lovely offer of 2 for 1. So for every one that you purchase, he's got enough margin there to be able to sell, to provide 2 to healthcare workers. Well done, Callum.
Yeah, incredible. And I imagine with the Facebook thing blocking the advertising, that's probably just the standards, and because you know they can't check if they're being made to the standards required. Right, let's go to our final participant for this evening, who's been waiting patiently for actually a good 20 minutes or so, which is really good of him. So we'll come back to you, Andy, in just a moment. But first of all, let's bring Edson. How are you doing?
I'm very well, guys. How are you?
Yeah, tremendous, and terrific to see you. Thanks for hanging on. I would love to hear all about your business goal, idea, ambition. What's it all about?
Fair enough. Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for inviting me on the show. It's been really interesting to see other kind of people looking to do business for good within Brighton. I particularly liked the idea for the choir. Not much of a singer myself, but you know, I'll get involved, give it a go.
Well, you can audition now if you want for Vanessa's choir.
Pressure. I'm not ready for that just yet.
So what are your aspirations? What is it you're looking to do?
So the main kind of core for my business, and what I've kind of tried to instill in my business, is to be able to empower the future generation. So I work as a personal trainer and sports coach, and my ambition has always been to give back to the community, be able to provide a platform and a safe place where young people can come and work out, either pursue dreams of basketball or fitness. And that's been the kind of core value for us. We're slightly retweaking the way that we approach. We had a studio in Brighton, and unfortunately we had to leave that location, and we've now got London, but we're still looking to get a new location in Brighton as well. Cool.
And what is it that you look to do with young people in particular?
So what I've done lately, so I had a couple of guys who were playing semi-professional level basketball, and all that I really provided them was mentoring, a place where they could come in and use our gym for free to work out in the mornings, ensure that they were getting shots up and practice as much as they can to be preparing to take it to that next level. I also worked with PRU, so that's the pupil referral units within Brighton as well. And with them, we were just providing an introduction to health and fitness, a place where they can get some outlets. So we did boxing, we did fitness, working out, we did basketball implemented games. Also a way that they just can come in and, I don't know, how can I express it? Just have a quick outlet, something that's a little bit different. It doesn't feel like they have an authority figure there. It's just someone that potentially has gone and utilized these services in the past and understanding how beneficial they are. And to be fair, in Brighton at the moment, that's kind of scarce. There's not really too many places where you can go work out, play sport, and just kind of do it for free as well.
Yeah, that's so true. So what is it that you'd like to ask from the people watching this evening and the people that will go on to watch it when it's not live? How could they help you at the moment to grow this and further its impact?
Well, so at present, I'm looking for a new location, a new premise, a place. So ideally, would like to find something within a park. So I've had a studio before in Preston Park, and that was amazing because that facilitated us to, one, be able to reach more young people, because a lot of the times they would just come to the park after school and they would end up stumbling into our studio asking to borrow a football or a basketball. And from there, we were able to kind of start talking to them, provide this kind of equipment. We always just gave them a football to go and play, a basketball to go and play. And with that, knowing that, one, we were around the park, it kind of also kind of semi-policed them a little bit. They weren't smoking or doing kind of the naughty stuff that they usually would have done, because they know they could always come to us and grab a football, a basketball, or even ask to work out. So we started to provide some fitness classes that were free after school as well, especially with boxing, pad work, that kind of stuff, which was amazing. I later went on to open my studio within Brighton Youth Centre, which was lovely, but it meant that I was still funding everything. So I still had to pay over £1,000 to have a room in there. And on top of that, I was also kind of volunteering my time to kind of provide extra activities. So, and we offer personal training. So we're self-sustainable. So we can still sell to the wider public who can afford to have personal training. And off the back of that, we were offering pro bono sessions. So like last year, I was nominated for the Pride of Britain Award. I was a finalist. And this was for a work that I did for over 2 years of training someone pro bono. And when I first met him, he was on a wheelchair for over 9 years. And I'm grateful to say that we finally got him a little bit more agile. We've got video and things of him running, which was amazing, you know. And
running?
Yeah.
Wow. Just, yeah, tell us about that journey. How on earth did he go from being in a wheelchair for 9 years to running?
So basically, I was working at a gym and I just met, his name is Neil. I met him. He was just gave him some advice on fitness and what he could do while still being bound to a wheelchair. We later developed a relationship, and I asked him, I was like, can you feel your legs? What has kind of happened? And he said, yes. I said, look, I can't promise you anything, but if you can feel them, we can definitely make them stronger. And then from that point, we started to work together 3 times a week, personal training, and just slowly start to get the upper body strength, and also looking at his diet, getting him moving, and then eventually we got to a point that he's now walking and able to run. And we've also got a pretty great video of him pushing his wheelchair up a hill, and the wheelchair weighed 78 kilos, which, you know, that for him was a pretty good symbolism of he no longer fully requires that. You know, and there's been times where his wheelchair is electric and he like ran out of battery and he had been stranded before, which now he's able to kind of, no pun intended, but almost kind of roll himself home, push himself. He's no longer kind of bound and reliant on other people, which gave him a lot more kind of accessibility in his life.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it was great. You know, it's a lovely kind of feeling to be able to give back, you know, get someone that potentially was a little bit low in the time that I met him. He didn't have a lot of self-confidence, you know, and to see him kind of walk past my door as he came into training was unbelievable. One of the best feelings I've had ever as kind of my working career.
And how did all of this start? How did you get into, first of all, training, and then secondly, kind of into the pro bono side of things?
So the pro bono side, I'll start from the beginning. So I'm originally from Brazil. We moved here, single parent home. I used to play basketball, and when I was younger, you know, my mum worked really hard and did everything that she could to provide, but she was a single parent of 3 kids. So there was times that I couldn't necessarily afford to go to training or pay for my subs for basketball. And those times my coaches didn't necessarily understand. It was always put down to potentially I was a bit lazy or whatever the case may be. And there wasn't a lot of people who were willing to look past the kind of initial kind of front and try and understand what may have been happening behind the scenes. So I started to be able to, one, when it comes to working to kids, being what I needed when I was a kid. So just, you know, being able to give back and understand. So I started to just do basketball coaching for free. You know, because I played basketball to a semi-professional level. I felt like I had put in my 10,000 hours in basketball, and I could definitely help someone who was just starting out. And then started coaching 2 kids, and they did pretty well. So they made like Southeast England team. Eventually, both of them went up to the Great Britain team. And you know, I was like, okay, I definitely know what I'm doing when it comes to basketball. And then I looked at why my career ended early, and it's because I didn't know how to look after my body. So then I became a personal trainer to be able to combine the skills of coaching of basketball and then also implement the aspect of fitness in the gym, how to get stronger and take your body and mind to the next level, really. And then, yeah, so then I became a personal trainer, and I've always had the ambition and the willing to give back to our community, because coming from a low income family and knowing that, you know, there was a lot of opportunities that I missed as a kid. So I didn't want other people to kind of miss that just because they can't afford it.
It's tremendous what you've done, and thanks for doing it. You said that previously to me that you'd already got help from the Good Business Club, or at least from Ruth, one of the co-founders of it too. How did she help? What help did she provide for you?
So prior to me opening my first studio, I was just going around looking to network with people, especially people that were doing similar things. So when I first found out about social enterprises, that to me just kind of blew my mind, because it was a way to have a somewhat of a charity and be able to give back to your community, but not be solely reliant on funding. So when I found out about Hisbees and what they are, and that they're social enterprise and how they operate and how successful they've been, so I actually ended up reaching out via their email, and I just sent them an email and say, hey, you guys do awesome stuff. Can I find out some more? And to kind of my surprise, I got an email back from Jack, and Jack was like, yeah, we're willing to give you some advice. I think he made me jump through a little hoop. He's like, oh, but we charge for that service. So I was like, cool, I'm willing to pay for it. Turns out that he didn't. He just wanted to see if I was really, really serious. You know, so then he's like, when I replied back, he's like, look, yeah, come down. And he just provided me with a lot of time where he just kind of spoke to me a little bit more about social enterprises, what they were, how I can go about setting up one. He then put me in touch with Ruth. And then she kind of elaborated a little bit more and told me about the Good Business and the kind of work that they were looking to do. And she provided me with a lot of advice as well.
Yeah, so the Good Business Club is an incredible network where you can find so many different people, so many different backgrounds, doing so many different things in the realm of doing business for good, business that has a purpose beyond profit. So highly recommended. So yeah, thanks so much, Edson, for describing all of that. Actually, I'm gonna just ask you to, because we've kind of talked about quite a lot since you actually said what it is you actually need. Yeah. So could you just summarize in a sentence or two, what are the asks that you're putting out there to the universe tonight?
Pardon? I didn't get the last bit.
So you said you were looking for premises, right? Yeah. So that was one of your asks. Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd like to make sure that people watching know is your need?
So just kind of support our brand and what we do. So since the lockdown, I've kind of changed how I'm going to do it. So part of £5 of every session that's paid or bought for personal training, £5 is going to be donated to charity. £2.50 will go to the Mind charity. We're still going to roll that out on our thing. And then another £2.50 will go into the Elite Pro Fitness Fund. And with that fund that I'm setting up through my own business, that's what we'll use to be able to give pro bono or free time to people in the community. Because now we've grown a little bit and we have physiotherapists on our platform, we've got yoga instructors on our platform, we also have nutritionists on our platform, and these are all people who are willing to give back to our communities. I want to be able to set up a space and a time where, you know, where they can still give back, but I want to be able to give them a little bit for their time as well. So it's sustainable and something that can be long term, you know, because not a lot of people were willing to do it as I did, to kind of work with somebody for over 2 years for free, you know, and that was challenging because at times my business wasn't doing great and I still had to commit to that. So if I can provide a fund where they can still do that and still get a little bit of money, that's what I want to do.
Thank you for describing all of that. I just want to say, because we're running out of time, it's probably best I make sure that the people watching know how to get in touch now. So just leave a comment on the Facebook video or on YouTube if you're watching it there. You can click on the link that's accompanying the video and you'll join us here in the broadcast in the next 5 or 6 minutes, and you can talk to Edson yourself, or you can send a message on WhatsApp to Agatha, and the number's about to scroll across the bottom of your screen. But it's high time that we went over to Andy, who's been getting it down on paper. Go.
Edson, hello.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, thank you for bringing this in. Thank you for agreeing to join us this evening. Inspirational, mate. I'm really pleased to be able to write this up. So, the big picture thing is you're talking about empowering the future generation. And thank you for the candor, for the insight from where you came, how you grew up yourself. And I think you're absolutely right to bring those challenges that a lot of young people have to the surface. We don't necessarily see that, which is the experience you told us about, your own coaches not necessarily knowing. And heck, who wants to go in there and say, my mum's going through this, or, I've got this problem and so on. It's just not done. So your insight there, your empathy, I can really feel that coming through as driving what you're doing. And it's working with young people, offering mentoring and support, and it's through the sports, it's the well-being thing. And you also talked about the PRU, which I had to double check on, the pupil referral unit. I wrote that down wrong in the first place. Offering alternative, accessible workout space. It's a different way of engaging, and that's what I'm getting from you. Your offer is a very engaging thing for young people. When it comes to the help you need, and it is really to help with this pro bono stuff, how you reach into the community and offer to young people, and the story about what you had down in Preston Park, inspirational, right location, being able to be there for those young people, offer a little bit of a role model, provide the resources, and basically help them bond together. So if anyone out there does have premises in that kind of location, that would be brilliant. So let's put the call out for that. Local park, and I'm reading something underneath there, which I didn't think you actually said, but there is a funding issue which would be nice to address. So if maybe someone can help you fund that so the premises becomes more secure, it's going to increase your ability to not just do stuff yourself, but towards the end there, you were talking about this really lovely network of other experts who might be able to give a platform for them to do some pro bono stuff as well.
Yeah.
Edson, have I captured that about right? Is it all there?
Yeah, amazing. You've actually worded it a lot better than I did. So thank you.
Oh, bless your cottons. Well, I try my best. And in my bestest handwriting, which obviously is a little bit scriggled and scrawled and so on. And so what I'd like to do, with your permission,
of course,
is take the ambition calling card that I've written up for you, well, on your behalf, and put it on our wall of ambition. Now, the wall of ambition, Adam and I have been doing this. Adam, I, and our wonderful volunteers have been kicking around doing this for about 3.5 years now. They're give or take. And although inviting other people to comment is really brilliant, you probably heard that we picked up a few contacts ourselves. So it's a joy to be able to spot those things and pass them through. And which is why we partnered up with the Good Business Club. Sadly, Ruth has lost her connection with us at the moment, but Yeah, and as you said yourself, she's sitting on top of and has a lot of expertise herself, and clearly was happy to share it, given recognizing the good that you were trying to do.
Yeah.
So here we are doing exactly that, asking for others to share contacts, to share ideas, maybe a few words of encouragement, maybe even some actual premises. And you know, there may be someone out there who knows somebody who can access, who is in charge of a building there that's just not being used, that's right on top of one of the parks in, I don't know, one of the areas, or maybe more than one of the areas in Brighton and Hove, East Brighton Park, whatever, somewhere where, you know, what you're offering would be a real asset to the young people there, give them the access to activity and so on. Plus the incredibly generous offer that you're offering there of working actually quite long-term with some people. It's quite a commitment you've given, especially when your own business needed servicing, to continue on for those 2 years with somebody. So, you know, it's a joy to be able to put this up there. We're going to get people, we're going to invite people to come on in, make comments, join you maybe they have sports abilities and so on, or well-being abilities or whatever, that would sit nicely in there. And if Edson manages to get this pro bono venue up for young people, and you'd like to jump in and be able to add to his wealth of skills that he's umbrellaing, if that word exists, in there, then, you know, it'd be a joy for us to be able to connect you with that.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. And as we add it to the array of activities here, we have no objection to really, really selfish ambitions. We've been blessed tonight by a lot of people who've recognized a good beyond themselves. And it's been a great fun working with the Good Business Club in partnership with them to hold an event that focuses around that. There's nothing wrong with personal ambition. In fact, you know, from what you're telling us, you wouldn't be able to give the pro bono stuff if you didn't have that business backing you.
Of course.
And so on. Yeah. And so we've got to respect that. And being able to share that forward is a really lovely thing. So I say again to you who are watching, either now live or on the repeat, if you get inspired by any of these, Edson's wonderful work with young people, Callum's ethical branded eco-friendly masks, you know, Nick with his ethical marketplace, and Claire with those pledges of stuff that she's offering and so on. You know, kind of get in touch and we'll pass those messages on. Adam, I'm going to call you back because I'm very mindful that we've overrun our official time.
Well, we took a few minutes out, aren't we? So I think we can borrow those lost minutes and put them on the end here.
If you stayed watching us, thanks for staying with us.
Yeah. What did I want to say? Well, if you're really, really super quick and you do want to let Edson know about anything that you could offer or any kind of advice, then you can just, probably the best thing to do right now is to leave a comment on the Facebook Live video or on the YouTube video. So Edson, is there anything else that you'd like to add that you think, oh, maybe I wish I'd said that?
No, that was absolutely fine. I think Andy really helped me kind of word my ambitions really well. You've been great as well with the questions. I know it dropped a lot of things there in a short period of time, but I think we summarized that quite well. Thank you.
Excellent. Right, we're going to make a social media post out of this because we have a social media campaign called Ambitions of Brighton. Okay. So we'll make a social media post out of it. We'll spread it as far and wide as possible, and we'll see what kind of support can come through, and we'll pass it on to you. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, Edson. It's really, really fascinating talking to you, and thanks for all the great work you've done.
You guys too. Thank you very much, and I appreciate bringing me on.
Cheers. Bye. Ciao for now. Thanks, Edson. So, yeah, it's left for us to wrap up. Unfortunately, Andy, as you said, we don't have Ruth anymore because her connection was, her connection was playing up. So, what I'd still like to do, though, is just kind of give them a bit of a last word and share with you a bit more about how you can get in touch, get involved. So this is them. This is thegoodbusinessclub.com. And as you'll see, this is a network of well over 100 people, nearly 200 people. They're all coming together to do these three things. Or this is what you can gain out of it. If you are wanting to start a business that has a purpose beyond profit, or maybe you already have a business that is doing so and you want to develop it or expand it, then if you get involved with the network here, it's a community that can help you grow your network, amplify your voice, and access support, because they've got a series of experts and specialists in a wide range of different areas. And if you approach them and say that I have a particular need in my business about something, so maybe it's marketing, as we heard earlier from Claire, or maybe it's a brand issue, or maybe you're wanting to reach a new type of clientele, then they will try and adapt to whatever your need is. So it's there for you if you want to connect with people across Brighton and Hove who are like-minded, you know, thinking similar way to you. They want to put the planet or society or the community before profit, or as well as profit, because profit isn't a bad thing. If it's in the hands of good people, then that's a great thing. Okay, Andy, this is the end of our event with the Good Business Club, but let's just give a quick mention to the people that we'd love to partner with in the future, because we're going to be doing these events for the foreseeable future, because we don't think lockdown's going to ease up enough for us to put on our events in person, unfortunately, anytime soon. So we are next week, we're going to be partnering with Stay Up Late. So you may have heard of them because they run a scheme called Gig Buddies. So they help people with learning disabilities to stay up late. So they buddy up with people who go to music gigs with them, and they can stay up partying and rocking out or doing whatever they want to do at a music gig. So they're an absolutely fantastic charity, and they're going to be with us next week. Then we've got our Refugee Week event on a week on Monday. So Monday, 15th of June, we're partnering with the Hummingbird Project. So that's another wonderful charity that supports refugees. They have a Young Leaders scheme, which helps young refugees to start campaigning and doing talks and that kind of thing. And so that event is going to be hosted in the first place by Naqib Said, who's one of the young leaders there. And then on the following Friday, we're going to be partnering with Kennedy Street Foundation, who help people who are in recovery. So we've got a whole great load of partners coming up. And if you run an organization or you're part of a community group and you're thinking, yeah, we'd like to have one of these to help bring our community together in these times of physical separation, then we'd like to hear from you. So do get in touch with us. You're watching us through Facebook or on YouTube, so you can connect with us through there, or send us an email at hello@ambigo.co.uk. I've probably missed something, Andy. What is it?
No. I've been monitoring it really carefully. I believe you were spot on. But of course, if you watching think that Adam have missed anything, send it in. I'll tease him about it. Okay.
Okay, well, if you have also got an ambition you'd like to share personally, and it can be anything, like Andy was saying, it doesn't have to be something that's going to change the world in some massive way. It can be something that's just meaningful to you. Then do get in touch as well, because we'll have slots available in our future shows. But for now, thank you very much for staying with us. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is the awkward bit where we have to keep on waving because the broadcast is still going. We're waiting for it to start.